Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest aliens and UFOs encounters video. Once again, I'm mixing another one of these in here from the Reddit.com website, there from the subreddit called Experiencers, one of my newer favorite ones because of the very detailed, sometimes very personal encounters that people have had. And in this case, it has to do with a childhood experience that happened way back when in the 70s. In fact, the way this person or this user portrays this experience, it plays out almost like a very surreal episode of The Twilight Zone. When I was reading this information, it's pretty creepy at the same time, but baffling. Like you want to see what happens next, but it's almost left on a cliffhanger. But it comes from a user by the name of Atarix Animator, and they titled theirs as Early 1970s Childhood Experience slash Visits Pennsylvania. So let's go ahead and let's share this encounter here, and then I'd love to hear what your own thoughts and comments are on it as well. So here's what they state. Greetings, fellow travelers. I am hearkening back to a long time ago. I would have been somewhere between 2 and 5 years old, so this was early in the 1970s in northeastern Pennsylvania. I have this lifelong vivid memory of reverie of whatever the hell to call it. Personally, I think it's probably a memory that made it past the suppression filters. So it was a comfortably warm, breezy summer night, and also for whatever reason, everything seemed very dry, like low humidity ambiance, which doesn't make sense for Pennsylvania in the summertime, but somehow this seems particularly important, and I don't know why. It was quite late in the evening, like past 11 p.m., so unusual for me to be up. I get the impression that the adults, my mother, father, and paternal grandmother, just aren't noticing me, which admittedly would not be unusual, but this late at night, not notice that I'm up? They seem thoroughly and utterly preoccupied, noticeably anxious, very sober demeanor, like they're awaiting a doctor's prognosis. They are on the edge of the seats and they are awaiting a visitor, each one trying to fake a calm face, pacing, fidgeting with nails, foot tapping, etc. They are dressed very smartly as well, which I picked right up on because this just did not occur in our blue-collar family except on Easter or for a funeral. And why at this hour? And who are they waiting for like this? But part of me knows exactly who the hell they are waiting for. It's those people who come on down into the backyard in that floating room. It brings them in over the mountain and down every single time, always late at night like this. I get the image mainly of a G-man, older, middle-aged guy as the main visitor, maybe accompanied by a shorter and slighter female companion or aide. Perhaps some colleagues remain behind in the room. Politely businesslike, reserved, not friendly but not imposing or off-putting either, dressed like a stereotypical businessman of the era. Here to discuss things with my parents and grandmother, or to deliver news, or what? Interestingly, there is an overwhelming ambiance or mood or vibe of mystery and intrigue, and deadly earnest seriousness and important secrecy, and so on. A lot of hush hush shoo shoo, like let's keep this quiet and no big deal, just a routine pre-scheduled visit, just like every time, this is important work, etc. This is a particularly specific and curious emotional overlay that I can't account for, but it saturates the memory entirely. I've never known what quite to make of this, so at long last, why not throw it out here and then see if anybody has experienced similar? Thanks for reading. Then that's it. That's everything from the user Aterix Animator. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. Pretty creepy stuff, right? So this guy, way back when in the 70s, was presumably 2 or 5 years old. He's there in northeastern Pennsylvania. He has this memory of himself, almost like coming down, I guess, from his bedroom. And then there are the adults, as he called them, the mother, father, and paternal grandmother, just waiting, like almost just waiting for something to happen. And they're all dressed very sharply at 11 p.m. Again, he mentioned that they don't usually dress like this because of their blue-collar status. Normally, it's just for Easter or a funeral. But here they are, obviously waiting for a predetermined thing to happen, trying to keep a calm face, but obviously they're not. They're doing a lot of activity like fidgeting and pacing and foot tapping. And then apparently they're waiting for something to come into the backyard and then float into the room. And it's a G-man, older middle type guy with a shorter, slighter female companion. and then that's it. They apparently start talking, very businesslike, very polite, but at the same time, they're there for a transaction or something along those lines. Quite eerie when you think about it, because again, it plays out like something involving the Twilight Zone. There they are just waiting for something to happen, and then lo and behold, somebody almost phases through. And it's obviously a mimic, like something that portraying to be human, but they're not. And they are in turn there to do some kind of dealings or business with those people there. What was it? What was it exactly they were doing? Why were they there? How long has that been going on? What happened afterward, too? As I mentioned earlier, it pretty much ended on a cliffhanger. Obviously, this user at the time was so young, they didn't either stay too long or they just can't remember. But either way, though, it doesn't. They didn't know what happened afterward, if it happened again as well, and then how many times it's been happening before, and so on. None of the other comments really mention anything else as well as far as that situation, but otherwise it's pretty weird. Like, it's unsettling, it's otherworldly. It's the idea that it's waiting for a visitor to come in and knowing that you can't do anything about it. Like, it's predetermined, it's going to happen. You have to make the best of it and then deal with it, and then they're gone afterward. But pretty creepy stuff. But let me know what you guys and gals think about this pretty unique encounter. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.